Hey, Maddie Cook. How are you?
Hey, Hetty Jefferson. Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. How are you, my love?
I'm good. Nice to see you. Nice to
Good.
see
And
you.
you. Love your hair.
Oh,
Very
thanks so
cool.
much. I'm channeling Harriet Stokes.
That is the vibe. We love Harriet.
I actually
Very cool.
messaged Harriet once and said, "How do you do that with your hair?" For
It's
anyone
so
listening, I've
iconic.
got it sort of slicked back and a bit wet looking. And Harriet always has it like that. And I always think it looks so nice. So I thought I'd
And
have a
that's
little
really
practice
good.
today,
I
seeing
think
as
on
it
that
was
length it looks
not washed.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think if it was longer, you might be tipping into funny territory. But I just thought
But
I'd give
yeah,
it a little go and see what I thought.
looks
But I
very
think it's
good.
for the win. Yeah, I think it's
Yeah,
quite
we
nice. I
like
think it's
it.
quite nice if you're a bit dressed up. I think it might be quite nice to,
Yeah.
holiday vibes maybe even. So, yeah, we'll
Nice.
see. I think it's going into the repertoire.
Yeah.
So, um, we've got a good topic to talk about today, Maddie, haven't we? We're going to talk about introverts and extroverts and the differences between them and really how this affects hairdressers and beauty people in their
Yeah.
businesses. This comes up a lot in my work. I often end up talking about it and talking to people about figuring out which one they are and then how you can proceed and look after yourself better once you know. And so I basically think I think there's a misconception that the hair and beauty industry is just full of chatty extroverts who just
Yeah.
can't get enough of talking. And I think that is not always the case at all.
Yeah.
What I really think is there's a lot of introverted hairdressers and beauty people pretending to be extroverts. And I think
Yes.
there are consequences of that we can really delve into. But, how do you see it, Maddie? What do you think?
Yeah, totally get that. I can't wait to chat with you about this actually because I think this might be a bit of a belief shifter. But you know that meme that I see loads of hairdressers share, where it's like a demon unzipping a human suit in like the bath, and it's like me after a long day of peopling. And it reminds us I used to spend many a time sat in my car, like pulled up after work in front of my house and being like, I'm just gonna pull up, turn my engine off, the phone, like I'm not even on my phone. There's no music.
Yeah.
It's like just silence and nothingness. And
It's
when
like
I
the
talk,
equivalent of lying in a dark room.
yeah, in the isolation station. And whenever I
Yeah.
would talk about doing this, and if other people did, I always had so many replies being like, "Oh my god, I do that as well." And it's like the
Yeah.
sort of decompression session. So yes, I would love to know your whole thoughts on this because I know this is a big part of your work.
I think it's really common actually. I like the fact that you talk about sitting. I've seen loads of memes about hairdressers talking about sitting in the car. I think like driving a long way home. Even
Yeah,
I
yeah,
like the meme. Sit in the bath. There's one where someone's ironing their human suit. That's my favourite. Ironing my human suit for the day. That one
That's
always
so
really
funny.
speaks to me.
It's so relatable, isn't
Um,
it? Yeah,
Yeah, and I think and what we're really talking about here is introverts. These are
yeah,
introverted jokes, aren't they? So I think the other side of that, one thing I often say to hairdressers is when you leave the salon, are you like driving home in silence or are you ringing your mum for a chat? Because those
yeah,
people ringing people for a chat on the way home from work, these are your extroverts.
yeah,
They're like, I'm not talked out. In fact, they want to recharge their batteries by talking to someone. So there's a lot of
yeah,
us lying in a dark room, driving the long way home, sitting in the driveway. But there's a lot of people who are getting business done, ringing people, catching up, and so essentially the definition that I saw once that really spoke to me about introverts and extroverts is it's about how you recharge your batteries. That's basically what it's all about. It's not about are you chatty. It's about when you're exhausted, what are you drawn to? And so if you're an introvert, you recharge your batteries by yourself. If you're an extrovert, you recharge your batteries around other people. That's the basic definition. And
yeah,
so, we've talked about a few versions of that already.
yeah,
Do you want silence or do you need another chat? How do you feel
yeah.
better?
And I wonder if you can you be both? I hear phrases like ambivert. I'm sure I've heard omnivert or introverted extrovert. There's a lot of labels, as there is. What's your thoughts on these? Do you think it's one camp or the other? Do you think it kind of depends? What's the gen?
I thought Omni was more about eating. Who even knows? I don't know. But yeah, I hear ambivert a lot, and introverted extrovert speaks to me. But I think I've read a lot about this, trying to find, if there is anything pretty clear around ambiverts and all of that stuff. And I think the bottom line is I'm not sure, but I think it's this. You should lean into whatever speaks to you. A lot of people don't like things like labels. And I mean, a label of an introvert or an extrovert, it's not any kind of scientific label, but I really like it sometimes when I see a definition and I think, that's me. That speaks to me when I see myself in things, because then I think, oh, that's me. Great, feel validated. Somebody else feels like that. And then I can start to think, okay, well, there's the baseline. What can I do about that? And so I sort of think, if introvert speaks to you, great. If extrovert does, if ambivert does, where you think, I feel both, because I feel both. I always have. And introverted extrovert has spoke to me quite a lot. People think that I'm very chatty, which I definitely am, until I'm not. And when the energy's gone, Maddie, it's gone. It's like someone took my batteries out, and I get quite moody if someone wants to talk to me then. So I'm very on or very off. And for years I was really obsessed with ambiverts. But what I know now is, it's ADHD.
Isn't everything?
What's going on there? It was an ADHD thing for me. And then the definition of ADHD spoke to me more.
Right.
But over the years, I've been quite obsessed with managing my energy in lots of ways. I talked about it in therapy a lot. I was always managing my energy and making sure that I would have enough energy to do that. Like, there was a joke with my therapist where I was obsessed at what time I would book the appointment, because it just took me an hour to drive there and an hour back, so it was half a day in the end. And I was always really stressed about when I was going to book it. And now what I know is, it was because I didn't want to be too knackered when I got there or afterwards, or all the things. And so I just basically think, when you find a definition that feels like you, great, read more about it, see if you can find any information that helps. And so I'll tell you what I think about me. I think I'm classically more introverted, as in I do recharge my batteries by myself. If I was knackered, I'm not going to a party. It's the last thing that I'm doing. But what I also know about myself is, being on my own for too long ends in disaster, and being social for too long ends in disaster. And so that's why when ADHD became a thing that I realised was happening, it made more sense. But I would say I always recharge my batteries by myself. So I think I'm introverted with ADHD. I think introverted extrovert always spoke to me before as well. But, what about you? What do you think?
Yeah, I think I would have always been like, classic extrovert. Like, I'll, be the person who Aidan always jokes that he leaves me alone for 2 seconds, and I'm like, I've made some friends. Like, this is my friend from when you were in the loo. I make friends in airports, restaurants. I'll just turn around, and I think because I look a particular way, people just start conversations with me. I give off a particular vibe, whatever. I feel very, very good in the presence of people generally, and I can find common ground, and I'm chatty, and I think that sort of hairdresser part of me, it was such a great job for me. It's hard for me to think about the introvert thing, because it's very rare that I'm by myself. Like, me and Aidan work together. We work from home, so we spend a lot of time together. I'll go out on walks, but even on my walk, I call you, or I'll call, a friend or family member. And I'm just not used to being by myself, or when I am, I'm I'll be working, or I'll be reading, or I'll be listening to a podcast. I can't, I would very much struggle to just sit and relax, or if I did, I'd just have a nap. That's where it would go. But I am very aware, it's exactly the same as you, and from many conversations with you about energy management and about ADHD, I can look at my calendar now And rather than see it in terms of time blocks, I see it as like energy. So something might be an
Well
hour.
done.
Yeah, finally, right. Something might be an hour, but I'm like, that's a really
But it's
intense,
exhausting.
draining hour compared to something might be 4 hours the next day that's actually really like manageable energy wise.
Yeah.
And I think I'm also very aware of or affected by different people. So there are some people that absolutely like G me up. I could just be in their presence forever. I always feel better in the presence. And there are some people that I come away from and I'm like, my God. I think of myself as like a sim sometimes, where I'm like, okay, what does my little sim need? Like, what's my like health bar looking like? You know, does she need a little lie down? Does she need to put some food in? This is how we keep ourselves alive.
I saw Tamagotchis in a shop the other day, and I was like, "Oh,
They're
remember
back.
them?" I was
Oh my God, that's going to
thinking,
be a
you should
hyper focus, isn't it?
yeah,
I love The
yeah,
Sims. I
more
love all
about
that stuff.
that.
But yeah, like
I'm a bit old for Sims.
yeah, sort of similar. Definitely leaning extrovert. Don't really know
Yeah.
about introvert because I'm just not really on my own that much. But I can totally do sitting in silence. I can sit in silence with people. I can be chill in that way. But I would definitely say like predominantly extrovert for me with the right
What do you
people.
do if you're really exhausted, Maddie?
Yeah,
Like if you're like starting to fit, just like really exhausted.
yeah.
What do you do?
What do I do? Really exhausted. Usually voice note you, and I'm like, Haley, I've done it again. Have a whinge. I'll spend time with Aidan. I'll have a little meltdown that I feel so affronted. How dare someone email me after I've emailed them? I have that sort of little wobbler.
Yeah.
But I don't do like, for example, we went away recently to a cabin thing to decompress and to chill, and we came home a night early because both of us were just like, I was so understimulated. It's so funny. I was so understimulated, and it said that there wouldn't be Wi-Fi, and I was like, yes, no Wi-Fi, that's great. I took books. I took my notebook to like do some work stuff. Read my book straight away. We downloaded some films. We watched those, and I was like, there wasn't any really good long walks, so I just felt like I wasn't able to get that energy out.
And understimulation for some ADHDers is stressful.
Really stressful. Yeah, and I found myself stressful.
Like you need a certain level of stimulation to be able to relax. And so if it's too boring, maybe that just ends up being more stressful for you. My observation of what you do, Maddie, actually, when you're exhausted is you retreat with Aidan.
Yeah.
That's what I see that you do. Yeah. You and Aidan kind of decide not to work for a few days. You go walking, you eat ice cream, like you do stuff, you watch box sets. So I think
totally that.
And I think when you've got a partner, that is being by yourself.
Yes, like, because it doesn't fit.
So I'm like on my own. But I think someone said to me once, being with my partner's like being by myself.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the version of it when you've got a partner, because you might think I'm never on my own.
Yeah.
But I think for a lot of people, that feels, it's got the comfort level of being on your own.
Completely. And because we can do the sort of sit in silence, we can coexist very harmoniously together. Like we did all of lockdown together. So I think that makes sense.
You just behave. You behave the same as if you're on your own. So it's got the same level of relaxation about it. Yeah.
But I love this. Why do you think it's useful and to know this stuff? Like to know which one you are, or to just consider this?
For me, the reason I end up talking about this a lot is because I talk about energy management a lot, because obviously burnout is my jam, and so I always end up talking to hairdressers about if you're this, you might want to think about the fact that you might be an introvert pretending to be extroverted all day, and they all go, oh, that's me. And then you realise, well, it's taking you a lot of energy to put on the show all day. It's taking you more than this person over here who's chatting to a mum on her way home. And so I really think about this being important as an energy management tool, like something that will help you start to think about it, and I think if you're neurodiverse, I would really be leaning into this, when I'm talking to ADHDers, when I'm thinking about myself, when I realise how obsessed I was about energy management all those years, it was because of the ADHD. And so I think how you recharge your batteries and being clear on that is just so helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
And what examples would that be? So if people are thinking about, right, I'm totally depleted, you know, I'm an Energizer bunny, my batteries have been popped out. What examples would that be then for different types of people?
Yeah, and so introverts are always going to lean towards being by themselves. You know, that's what they're going to be craving, quiet, and being by themselves. And it doesn't mean lying in your room, in a dark room by yourself. It might just be doing something by yourself. Introverts are often quite good at entertaining themselves on their own. They might just be doing a project or gardening or I don't know, but something solitary on their own. And that is very recharging. And I feel like that. I definitely need that so that I can be on, you know,
Yeah.
and I like being on, but then I like being off. You know, I really like both. But also for some people, they might recharge themselves by socializing, going to a party. So an introvert could also recharge by being with one person,
Yes.
the right person, the special person. Whereas an extrovert would be excited by a party and some chit chat and meeting new people. Whereas for an introvert, you can recharge around very specific people. And I think that's interesting. And, you know, I kind of see that you do that a bit and Aidan does that, you know. So it's interesting, isn't it? But I think it's also really important to start thinking about who in your life is good for recharging your batteries and who drains you.
Yeah.
You know, regardless of whether you're introverted or extroverted, who even cares? But I really notice there are certain friends that I have, and when I spend time around them, I usually come away with more energy, but at least I don't come away with less.
Yeah.
You know, you're someone who I usually come away with more when I
Yay.
talk to you, spend time with you.
Thank you.
And in a worst case scenario, if we're both knackered, I won't spend any more.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
I don't end up having to give more. And then there's some people in my life where I have to kind of go, I have to reserve my energy for meeting them because I know I'm going to spend some.
Yeah.
And it just is what it is. It's not even that I don't like them. It's just that they take energy.
Yeah.
And some people
I
just
get
take
that.
energy at certain times in your life.
I
You know,
think
all of that.
I think I said this phrase to you and you were like, oh, I use this already. And it was something I think there's two variations. My dad says people are like anchors and engines, but meaning anchors is in like kind of pulling you down a bit, not like the nice sort of sturdy, keeping you still.
Oh, yeah. So I like
you do drains and radiators.
drains.
Yeah. So like some people drain you, some people like radiate, you know, the warmth and all of this. And yeah, and I think sometimes it can be the same person, but just maybe they're going through something and you don't have the capacity. All of these things, you know, sometimes it can be like, sometimes I love groups and I can get loads from groups. Sometimes groups can feel overwhelming and I just want to sit with one person, and it's all like a bit of a flex, isn't it? But yeah, I've been very mindful of people that I come away from and I think, oh God, like I need, you know, and we have this sometimes with clients as well. You know, I remember being behind the chair and thinking, looking at someone's name going, oh my God, I'm buzzing. I can't wait to see her. And then sometimes like, I need to put this person at the end of a day because I'm going to have nothing left.
Nothing left. If I have them at the beginning, the whole day's over.
No one's getting any chat. Yeah. Yeah.
It's really hard, isn't it? It is. Some people just sort of suck your soul out. I mean, you know, like you talk about people as energy vampires.
Yeah.
People can feel energy vampires. I love it in that. Have you watched What We Do in the Shadows?
Yes.
It's about vampires. And then they have one who's just an energy vampire, who's just like a really boring guy that just drives you mad.
So good. Just sucks the air out of a room. Yeah. I think we've all met those
Colin
people.
in Derry Girls. It's funny. Yeah, it makes me laugh.
I'm thinking as well from like the business side of like, just when you say energy management and like being mindful of the interactions that we have with people, a couple of things that come to mind. And obviously big up Timely who partner with us, but they've shared some really, like I think really interesting stats. One thing that I just can't bear to see people doing, and I did this for years, was the whole appointment ping pong. Do you know the whole like, hi, can you do Friday?
I can
do Thursday. No, I can't do Thursday. I'm picking the kids up. Can you do Wednesday? Absolutely makes us want to gouge my eyes out. they did some studies, Timely did some research, and people that use online booking save 56 hours per year. Is it per year?
What is that?
I feel like that should be
more
like
than
per
2
week.
days.
Yeah, I mean, it's a
I feel
huge
like for
amount of time.
hairdressers, that's per month, isn't it? Maybe
Yeah.
because what's that, about 2 and a bit days? Can't
Yeah,
do the
that
maths.
has to be per month.
2 and a bit. I just feel like when I didn't have an online booking system, in fact, I didn't have one because I left hair. As I was getting one, I quit. But
Yeah.
I did the ping pong and it drove me mad. But what I
Such a
actually did was
bollock.
I used to jump on the phone with people. But
Yeah.
then all of that's awful. I don't want to do it. And when
Yeah.
people don't have an online booking system now and I have to do the ping pong, I just think, why am I doing that? I don't want to do it.
is
As a client, I don't
draining.
want to.
It is really draining. It's draining
to.
from both ends. And I think that is energy that you need for other things and is best placed elsewhere. And
Well, it's energy that you're spending
it's just
on something that you don't have to, but you're
it's
taking
needless.
it away from somewhere, you know, like, or you're even not, you're sat on the couch messaging your clients instead of giving that energy to your partner or your kids or your friends or whatever.
Yourself,
you know,
just recharging, you know, like no wonder people
Or
are just absolutely
yourself,
knackered. Yeah,
Yes,
I'm learning.
Good point. Yes.
And another thing that they shared is, you know, they've got a consultation app, which is actually, I believe it's free and you can use it even if you're not a Timely customer, which is really cool. So you can do that if you're using a pen and paper diary or a different booking system.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's like a separate app. So taking consultations digitally, which I was a massive fan of, can save 15 minutes per client, which feels like not a lot, but that's 20 hours per week per staff member.
15 minutes is a lot though when you've got an hour appointment or a 2-hour appointment. Like it's massive, isn't it?
I've seen a bunch of clients.
So this is like you would send it out before the appointment.
Yeah. So I would
normally. So you've already got it, and that's good.
Yeah. When I did extensions, as soon as someone booked a consultation, I had an automation that if they were a new client, they would get a consultation form. So when they came in, I still would have the consultation and the colour match, but I would say, I'm just going to whiz through what you've put in here and just, if there's any questions, I'm just going to ask, you know, just clarify them. So I'd be like, okay, Hayley, so you said that you want to go for thickness, not length, you're going on holiday in a few weeks. Okay, I'll go through holiday aftercare. So I still did it, but I didn't have to sit and go, okay, are you going anywhere? I'm not asking you to ask if you're going on holiday. I'm asking for aftercare and trying to like contain that conversation. So I think those are two really, I mean, there's millions of other things we can be doing in the business, but just be mindful of like those little, I guess, leaks, like energy leaks that
time
like you say,
sucks
they're coming
as
from
well,
somewhere.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's good. It's really good. Yeah.
So well, I want to hear the Hayley Jepson final thought because I'm such a fan of final thoughts now.
I love the Jerry Springer final thought situation.
Turn to the camera.
So, I think it's this. I just think it's really good as a service provider to be always thinking about your energy. Like I'm constantly managing my energy. Like I always say to you, I manage my energy, not my time. And like today I was looking at booking a meeting and I thought I haven't got the energy. I looked at my week and thought I haven't got the energy. I've got loads of time, but I haven't got the energy for it.
That's such a mic drop. I love that.
Yeah, I just was like, if people had access to my diary, they'd be booking, and I'm like, absolutely not. We'll be sitting in a dark room for that space there. But I think if you start thinking about what's draining your energy in your business, in your life, what's giving it to you, and really leaning into that, you know. And I think if you're new to this sort of thinking, just think to yourself this: do I recharge my batteries around other people or on my own? That's where you start. And just see how that feels. But I think understanding how to recharge your batteries is really important. And I think a lot of people don't know.
Yeah. Or they're doing it the way that doesn't work with them. They're thinking, like me, go to a cabin, not a great idea. I should have just went and seen the girls or, you know, met someone for a walk or
you need Wi-Fi. You need Wi-Fi.
I need the stimulation and games and puzzles.
You would have watched box sets and...
But I'd have still been like
time.
Yeah, true.
Do you think not?
I don't know.
A bit of Wi-Fi would have been better.
Yeah,
and a walk.
I think some decent Wi-Fi and a walk. That's all I need, Tilly.
Wi-Fi and a walk, and I think that would have been a chilled experience.
And maybe some more ice cream options. I think that's what was sending us over the edge. Was just one.
Was there no pastry shops?
No.
Grim. It's too remote. This reminds me of. Do you ever watch Sex and the City? I feel like you might be a bit young.
Yeah.
Do you remember when Miranda went on honeymoon with Steve, they went to a
Yes.
cabin and she was losing her shit.
That was
There was
the
no
vibe, yeah.
Wi-Fi, there was nothing to do. They went home early.
Yeah. Oh my God, I need to rewatch that episode.
She did, it's really good. Fine, I don't know what a series that's in, but it was definitely a thing.
We walked to the one walk in the village. It's a tiny little village nearby, and there was a pub, and it was like a sunny day. So we walked in, and I was like, I think if I ask this bar person if they do non-alcoholic drinks, I'm gonna get like actually turfed out. So I was like, let's go to the other one with nice dogs outside, and even they had one option. So I had a ginger ale, but anyway, I digress. So I think that's amazing. I think just to reiterate what you've said, because I want people to really lock this in, like, time is not the same as energy. Just because you have time does not mean you have the energy. Do not feel guilty if you look at a week that looks like this space, if you know you have really high energy tasks in there. It's almost like putting stuff in before and after that, like as a visual to go, I need to replenish after this, and I need to kind of psych myself up beforehand and seeing it like for what it requires.
Where did you learn that, Maddie?
A wise woman once said.
I remember saying that to you one day. You're going to need to book a day in after those jobs. And
You're always like, book some time before and after, because it's not that, I was like, why do I feel so much busier than my calendar looks? And you were like, because you're actually doing all this stuff in between. But yes, the same thing for business. Like, what's draining your energy? What, how can we solve that? How can we, plug those leaks? Are you noticing that you don't have energy for people at home and for yourself because you're too busy giving it to clients in ways that they just don't need, like we say with consultations and messages. We can give them really good energy in the chair, but we don't then have to be doing the hours of messaging and back and forth and stuff like that.
Too much out of hours working, isn't it?
It's
too much out of hours working, and there's things for it. Yes.
Go and have an ice cream instead.
I feel quite energised after that chat.
Feeling psyched. So let's go to our hyper-focus, Hayley.
Hyper-focus.
You do yours first. I think we might be on the same wavelength this week.
Oh dear. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I think so.
I've become recently obsessed with things that taste of cereal milk, right? And so this happened because
we're not on the same wavelength.
You're like, no. I remember ages ago you posted on your Instagram something about a cereal milk flavoured protein powder, and for some reason I wasn't in the zone of protein powder at the time, but I stored it in my brain because I have been in the zone of protein powder in the past. The fads come thick and fast with me, healthy, not healthy, all the things. But I stored it in my brain somehow because it sounded nice. And then recently I've gotten back on the protein kick, and I started searching for cereal milk flavoured protein powder, and I bought some, and it's a delight, Maddie, so thanks for that. But what I noticed is I do really like cereal. They do cereal milk flavoured ice cream somewhere near me.
Yeah, they do here.
I really like it. It's good shit, that, isn't it? Why does it taste so good?
If anyone's thinking, what the hell does cereal milk taste like? It's the one that I get is from Bulk. I don't know, did you get the same one? The protein?
No, I don't think so.
And it's like cinnamon crunch. It's a bit like Golden Grahams cereal, if you remember from like back in the day, what the last little dreg of cereal tastes like. So it's got this little sweetness and this little cinnamon thing. Yeah. It's really tasty though. So good.
It's really nice. I like this because I eat crunchy nut cornflakes quite a lot. That's been a fad recently. And the milk at the end, what a treat.
It's the best
What
dish.
I find,
it's like the dessert.
I've started making protein smoothies and stuff, and cereal milk is better than vanilla or something. Or it's better.
I've got a whole list of recommendations. Bulk is my favourite. That's where I get everything from. I've actually got their like next day delivery thing, a bit like ASOS, whatever, the Premier thing. You can pay, I can't remember, it's like tenner, but you get unlimited next day delivery, so I get that. And they do a pistachio ice cream flavour, which is good.
Shut up.
Yeah, like not just pistachio, but pistachio ice cream flavour. So I do that in a smoothie with, do you know Halo Top ice cream, which is like a low calorie, I think the whole tub's like 300 and something calories for a pint, but they do a,
wow.
They do a birthday cake flavour, which is good. They do a salted caramel. The salted caramel is really good, and it doesn't taste, most things that are low calorie just taste shit. But I put a bit of that in. I put a bit of the whatever protein powder I've got, and it makes just this like mega, like creamy ice. The ice cream gives it that kind of proper smoothie texture.
Yes, more
And
like a bit of a dessert-y. It feels a bit more of a treat, that, doesn't it?
It honestly
so
tastes
no
like such a
fruit in
treat.
there, Maddie. Just
Hell
pure
no.
fun.
Just pure fun. And it's protein, so it's a joy. And we were on the same length because I've been on the protein hound for quite a while since I've been training, but there's something in particular that I drink every single day. If you're listening, UFit, please give me an endorsement. It's called UFit, and there's 50 grams of protein in one drink, which is insane. To get that from protein powder, you'd need to have like an absolute shit ton. And if you go on the website, they always have a deal of like, they come in packs of 8, but it's like if it's 3, you get so much off. So it works out loads cheaper than getting them in the shops. But I think the shops do a 25 gram one, but the 51 makes it so much easier to hit.
I think I've just bought the 25 gram one,
like a little smaller one
in Sainsbury's yesterday. A little one, because I thought 25's a lot. 50 in a drink like that, so I bought that.
Yeah,
treat yourself.
I get the white chocolate one, the normal chocolate one, and salted caramel is my favourite because that's like my favourite flavour. But sometimes I'll put that in my smoothie, and it's like freaking like 1 billion grams of protein.
You're like,
just a hench. I'm like
done for the day.
I'm like Popeye when I finish.
I do like it. My smoothie that I've started making, I've managed to get it to 50 grams of protein, and it's such a treat to have it done. Like, you've done well, I'm aiming for 100 at the minute, and I'm like, half's done first thing.
It's so good.
Feels so easy after that. Yeah,
I know that obviously that it's better to get your protein from like real life food, etc., etc.
I know. Don't start emailing us, telling us how
out of my
terrible we are.
DMs.
Like, don't do it.
I don't want to hear it. Right? You're getting blocked. My lovely trainer, shout out to Phil, is just like, if it gets you to your protein goal, do it, because he knows that I'm not a meal preppy type, or I would get into it and then fall off. He's like, if that helps you to hit the goal and that keeps you in the gym and that stops you eating a load of shite, it doesn't matter that it comes from a bottle. It's probably got a bit of sugar in, whatever. But if it's that or eating 5 croissants, this is the better option.
I think this, and I'm always like, because I can, I can be very all or nothing, Maddie. I don't know if you know that. But what I'm trying to do, is just not be all or nothing and just do something. And I think this is what I'm doing to start the ball rolling, and then I'll get better. Instead of what I used to do, which was fill my fridge and freezer and cupboards with the perfect stuff, and then
all your salads like wilting away in the back of the fridge.
Set my standards really high, like, trying to eat 160 grams of protein on my first
all
day.
Through like tofu
and all
and
of
stuff
that.
Like
so
that.
Yeah.
Well, look at us.
No, little.
Getting
I'm trying.
Ripped. I know, so strong and good.
I'm not sure ripped's in my future, but I'm hoping for strong.
Strong's good. I like to just look at stuff and go, I could move strong. That's all I want to know is I could pick that thing up over there. That makes me feel good.
That's why I like going places with you, because you carry my suitcases.
I love carrying your suitcases. I love sometimes strangers. I'll be like, do you want me to carry that? They think they're getting like mugged.
Yeah, I love it. I know what you're doing is getting your weights in,
getting some reps and steps.
Getting your weights in, helping me.
It's a win-win. We love it. Well, it's been a pleasure. Let's both go and sit in a darkened room now to replenish for the next one.
See you next week, Maddie.
Bye.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, please like and subscribe, and don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comments.
Please support those who support us, and check out Timely, who we recommend as our favourite booking system for you. New customers can get 50% off their first 3 months with the code COFFEE50.